From a demolition team in California that blew this rockfall to smithereens, and a wild Florida man who refused to let this towing company repo his truck, to a paraglider from Guatemala who flew over a volcano right as it erupted, and a burning building in Mexico that somehow set this passing car on fire. Here are 10 moments you wouldn't believe if not filmed. Guadalupe, Mexico is a large city in the state of Nuevo León. It's part of the greater Monterrey metropolitan area and only a few miles outside the state capital. On August 20th of 2019, locals in a small shop noticed thick black smoke rising toward the clouds. They began recording a building fire, assuming they were safe since they were so far away. Then, out of nowhere, a random vehicle brought the fire much closer to home.
Mira, güey, mira eso, güey.
Ya, hay chingo de gente ahí adentro, ya, sobre.
No mames. ¿El carro?
¡No mames!
Ya, vente para aquí ustedes dos.
Güey,
Puede pasar un tren también, pendeja.
güey.
¡Vete a la verga! ¡Bájense! ¡Bájense!
¡Afuera, bájense!
Ah, no mames, se cayó.
¡Bájense!
Sí, te voy a esa madre que trae, güey.
Thankfully, everyone inside the car escaped unharmed. What's unclear is if this car came from the burning building or if it was an unrelated incident. Based on where the building is and where the car is coming from, it's plausible that they traveled all that way without burning themselves. Perhaps there were a few more puddles between our cameraman and the burning building that they used to douse themselves. Unfortunately, a high cartel presence in and around Nuevo León means that these fires may not have been accidental. On August 29th of 2021, Hurricane Ida made landfall in Port Fortune, Louisiana. The Category 4 hurricane was the strongest to hit the Pelican State since Hurricane Katrina. Coincidentally, August 29th was the 16th anniversary of the famous storm. Ida ravaged the Gulf Coast region and spawned a destructive tornado outbreak in the American Northeast. One of those tornadoes, an EF3 with wind speeds upwards of 150 miles per hour, touched down in Mullica Hill, New Jersey, a small town of 4,600 people in Gloucester County. A local man was standing outside with his dog and watching the storm as it formed in the distance. He could see it coming toward them and was ultimately preparing for the inevitable. He and his pup made it into the basement moments before the storm almost deleted his entire neighborhood off the map.
Yeah. This is it. Come on, Cubby. Come on. Come on, downstairs. Basement. Basement. Let's go. Come on. Come on, Cubby. Get out of there. Stay. Stay. Stay, Cubby. Come on. Come here, Cubby. Holy. 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 Oh my God.
According to the National Weather Service, this tornado tracked a 12.6-mile path of destruction through the area. It tore down trees, obliterated power lines, and caused serious damage to several houses. One woman compared the aftermath to a war zone, while another said their whole lives were destroyed in 5 short seconds. Tornadoes are extremely rare in New Jersey. This video goes to show that they can still happen. If you're home when one strikes, the safest place to be is in your basement or a designated safe room. Stay away from the windows and exterior walls, and don't forget your pets, assuming you've got time to grab them. The Waccamaw River is a 140-mile waterway flowing between North and South Carolina. Its upper course through southeastern North Carolina is a slow-moving track through dense swamplands. There's plenty of exotic foliage and wildlife. You just have to be careful of one animal in particular. In mid-July of 2020, Peter Joyce decided to take his kayak out for a relaxing day on the water. He found himself in an area of the Waccamaw that he hadn't explored yet, but something else was lurking in the water that morning. Something large and with many sharp teeth. Thankfully, Peter and his kayak were okay. We never see the alligator again, which is why Peter turned around and paddled as quickly as he could to safety. The last thing he wants is to fall victim to another sneak attack. Now, this wasn't Peter's first encounter with alligators on the Waccamaw, though it was the first time one ever charged him. He thinks he simply chose the wrong time of year to venture through these parts. It was mating season, and the gator was probably protecting its babies. Of the situation, he said it gave him a newfound respect for these animals. He plans on going back one day, but will be extra cautious this time. Stunt flying dates back to the Wright brothers and their exhibition team, the Wright Flyers. Ever since then, pilots around the world have been pushing their personal planes to the limit. On October 4th of 2023, a South African farmer was loading a new roll of plastic in his automatic cotton picker when he saw 2 planes approaching in the distance. They were side by side and awfully low, so our farmer decided to pull his phone out and record. He's lucky he did, because nobody would have believed what happened next. From what we can gather, the pilot's wheel clipped the cotton picker and snapped off. It forced him to make an emergency landing in the field about 100 yards away. According to one report, the pilot walked away unscathed. It's unclear if this was a stunt gone wrong or a case of reckless flying. Most people don't buy cars straight up. They typically take out a loan and make payments for several years. However, if they stop paying, the lender may choose to repossess the vehicle and recoup their losses. That's when the repo truck arrives on your doorstep. And if you've ever watched good reality TV, you know everybody hates the repo truck. On September 25th of 2018, a man in Homestead, Florida refused to leave his F-250 as it was being hooked to the back of a tow truck. He decided to test his own towing power to see if he could escape the repo man.
Call the cops on your phone, bro. I'm on the phone with the cops.
Bájate, bro. Bájate, bro. Bájate, loco.
According to Homestead Police, 31-year-old Johannes Lopez hadn't been making good on his payments. When the tow truck driver was forced to stop, Lopez jumped back in his Ford, started it, and began his heavy-duty rodeo. From what we can gather, Lopez never got his truck off the hook. He bailed out and was arrested nearby. Police charged him with grand theft auto and criminal mischief. In this next viral clip, you'll see a man crawl from the passenger window of one car to board the bed of a speeding flatbed truck. He then proceeds to steal his car back, though the internet is divided over whether it's real or not.
Alright, I'm gonna have to drive it off. Alright, here we go.
Now, we had trouble finding any information about this online, leading us to believe that it was, in fact, staged. Firstly, how did the truck driver not notice this guy climbing onto his bed? And how was he able to unhook the car so easily without losing his balance? Finally, how were there no witnesses? You can see other people driving behind them in the clip. Surely they would have said something. We never see anybody's face, we don't know where the video took place, and our thieves are careful to cover up any logos and license plates. Was it a well-planned stunt or an actual truck heist? We'll let you be the judge. Now, when we think of demolition projects, most of us default to old buildings or bridges that need to be blown up. But every day, professionals use explosives to make our lives easier and safer. For example, pipe layers detonate underground explosives to excavate areas for new gas pipelines or electrical wiring. Other times, your state's Department of Transportation, or DOT, will hire contractors to deal with hazardous road conditions. On June 16th of 2015, the Oregon DOT contracted K&E Excavating to blast 4,000 cubic meters of rock hovering over US 26 West. They were worried about potential rock slides, so they figured getting out ahead of it was the safer option. Heavy machines arrived once everything was blown to bits. Within 30 minutes of the blast, excavators cleared enough rock to open one lane of traffic. A few days later, and it was like nothing ever happened. Unfortunately, rock slides are so random that mitigating them all would be impossible. They can shut down roads for days, if not weeks, if they aren't taken care of immediately. So, when several massive boulders blocked a road near Mammoth Bar, California, contractors rigged the rocks with dynamite and blew them all to smithereens. Unlike the Oregon job, additional repairs were necessary before California could reopen this road. According to reports, the rock slide happened on a Tuesday, and the road wasn't cleared until the following weekend. They also didn't know what caused the landslide. Whether we're laying gas pipes or blowing up road hazards, controlled demolitions play a major role in our daily lives. The fact that they look awesome is just an added bonus. July 17th of 2021 was looking like a good beach day. While some got to enjoy the sun, others, like this crane operator, were hard at work. But that didn't stop him from having a little fun on his break. From up on his perch, he saw a man sleeping on the beach. The sun was beating down on him, so our crane operator gave him a little artificial shade. That's when he realized he could toy with the sunbather, and the expert-level trolling began.
Come on, Marshall, ready, Marshall, ready, buddy.
Don't worry, the crane was a safe distance away from the beach during the troll session. The man had no idea the operator was messing with him and must have chalked it up to poor luck. That, or he had a sneaking suspicion that somebody was following him. The Kemerovo Oblast is among Russia's most urbanized regions, with 70% of the population living in one of 9 major cities. So, when city life gets too busy, some locals like to venture into the Russian backcountry for a little extreme skiing. On December 23rd of 2022, 2 Russian friends strapped on their ski boots and hit the slopes. The uncharted terrain makes backcountry skiing extra dangerous, and only the best should ever try it. Now, these guys may have been pros, but they were no match for Mother Nature when she sent an avalanche their way.
Блядь, тут лавина аж идет. Блядь, там смотри, смотри. Идет.
Стоим.
Дядя!
Где? Стой, стой.
Дыши. Дыши, тихо, тихо, тихо. Все, тихо. Я испугался. Тихо, 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 тихо. Все нормально, все нормально. Тихо. О, держись. Блять, я обоссался, отвечаю. Держись, мужик. Держись.
This man has never been so happy to see his friend's face. You can hear the panic in his voice with each breath he takes. You can also see where the snow was so tightly packed around his arm that he couldn't move it. Luckily, his buddy wasn't buried and could find our cameraman in the snow. After a brief conversation about how lucky they are, both men began digging themselves out.
Вторая нога где?
Под ней. Фу, сейчас подожди, я палку.
Давай. Ты чё, Серега? Ты, блин, я на всю жизнь запомнил.
Подожди. Вот эту хуйню нас сломать.
Колодец ебаный. Стой. Глаза отворачивайся, закрывай. Прикинь, вот так вот. Кто в физухе плохо, да?
Based on the effort required to pull our cameraman out, we're assuming his legs were too buried to move. You can imagine how quickly claustrophobia sets in during something like this. Even watching this video is enough to make your skin crawl. Payson, Arizona is a small town in Gila County. It's home to about 16,000 people living roughly 88 miles northeast of Phoenix. It's been called the heart of Arizona due to its geographic location in the middle of the state. It's also surrounded by the Tonto National Forest, the largest of 6 such parks in the state. In June of 2017, a raging wildfire burned roughly 7,000 acres of land in Payson near Ellison Creek. Then, when it began downpouring in July, there wasn't enough vegetation to suck up all the water. It created the perfect conditions for a massive flash flood. This family got a front row seat and recorded the whole thing.
There it is.
This is TV news video.
Yeah, it's got a lot of ash in it from the fire.
Is it going to get our feet?
Nah.
Okay. Oh my God, it's coming right at us. Holy shit, Richard, we gotta go. We gotta go up. It's coming. It's gonna get us, because look. Yeah. Well, it slowed down a lot compared to the last time we saw it. Holy moly.
All those charred logs are thanks to the wildfire from a month prior. According to a local weather expert, this was a textbook example of desert region flooding. Arizona actually has a monsoon season, during which it rains relentlessly. But, unlike other wet climates, the soil is so hard and dried out that it doesn't absorb the water. Instead, it accumulates on the ground as if it had fallen on concrete. Add a wildfire on top of that, and you're looking at the perfect storm. On September 18th of 2019, an adrenaline junkie in Guatemala wanted to take his paragliding adventure to the next level. He set up on the slopes of Volcán de Fuego, Spanish for Volcano of Fire. The mountain is one of Guatemala's most active volcanoes, and it woke up just as our paraglider was getting ready to launch. Whether that was lucky or unlucky depends on your definition of luck.
¡Qué belleza de volcanes!
Getting to see an erupting volcano is rare. Paragliding over one is unheard of. This adrenaline junkie hit the jackpot that day and had an amazing story to tell all his friends back home. Fuego's most recent eruptive period began back in 2002 and is still going on today. The largest eruption during this period happened on June 3rd of 2018, only a few months before our paragliding friend showed up. Before that, the last powerful eruption